Here we go. We are live. Welcome, guys, to the pre-market overview. July 22nd. It is a Wednesday, I believe. Hope we're all having a good trading week so far. Obviously, today, what we're going to do is go into what we think might happen based on technology and probabilities in the markets. That's what we go over on our pre-market overview. What I go through most is our newsletter. So if you're not already subscribed to the newsletter to get the document yourself, you can email us newsletter@tradewithufos.com. And then you will obviously get the document that we go through every day as well. So just to say, if you didn't realize, that's me. I'm Becky. You can email me, becky@tradewithufos.com, if you have any questions about anything I go through. As always, we'll say this a lot on the Tradewithdom channel. The support team, being a team, are normally better to get hold of because they're a team. So they're much more likely to be able to get back to you quickly. So email those guys, support@tradewithufos.com. So a couple of reminders, today being a Wednesday, we have futures at 9 a.m. and then options at 1 p.m. Eastern. You'll see that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have stocks and investing sessions, and we have sharpening sessions over the weekend that are there to go over theory and concepts. Good time for you to bring your questions about different things you might not quite get or you need going over, and bring them to those sessions. And we also do psychology sessions as part of the sharpening series as well. I still haven't changed this. Sorry, this is my bad. So backtesting class is already done. The next full live course that we have is the futures course. That is July 25th to 31st with the lovely Jose. Then we have stocks, psychology, and trading plans. So those are the upcoming classes that we have. So you'll see most of them start at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. You can take a look at those dates there whilst I read the disclaimers, and then we'll go into the newsletter and what we expect to happen in the markets. So the following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradewithdom provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. The following presentation is for educational purposes only. All the symbols and trading ideas discussed are for demonstrating and are not recommendations. Active options and futures trading carries a high degree of risk and may not be suitable for all traders. Past historical trading performance of real or simulated trading does not guarantee success and may not be indicative of future results. You Can Trade is an online media publication service which provides educational investment content and ideas along with live trading demonstrations and does not provide investment or trading advice, research, or recommendations of any kind. Please visit www.youcantrade.com for additional disclosure information. I wonder if I could do that without reading it one day, if I just know it off by heart by now. Right, let's crack on and have a look at the newsletter. So this is what you'd get if you were subscribed to it every day. You would get this newsletter through. So what we do on the newsletter is we go through 4 of the major markets in the world. We look at the S&P, one of the major equity indices in the world, oil and gold, which are obviously both very big commodities, and the euro, which is, well, when we're using the euro versus the US dollar, the highest traded currency pair in the world. The US dollar itself is responsible for 80% of transactions worldwide every day in the markets. So we've covered a lot of what goes on out there. Even if you don't trade these markets, probably what you trade would at least be correlated to these markets. You'll also notice we're going through a daily time frame in each of them. Of course, you might not trade on the daily time frame. You might use different time frames. And of course, different things happen on different timeframes. The daily is quite a common one that most people use, whether or not they're doing short-term trading or long-term trading. Normally, the daily would fall somewhere into their analysis there. So what we're going to go through for each of these markets to give us an idea of what we might expect is climate. Another word for climate might be trend, basically. In what direction is the market going in? And where are the probabilities as to it going in that direction? Propagating, what that tells us is how long does that market normally go in that direction for? What are the statistics? What's it likely to do? And then where are we relative to that? So again, it just gives us probabilities based on how likely those markets are to continue going in a certain direction. Then we want to look at our nearest UFOs. UFO stands for unfilled orders. Sorry, I'm just thinking there. So unfilled orders, we mean either buy orders or sell orders. So buy orders that could push price up or sell orders that could push price down. What we want to know is where are those stacks of orders on a chart that are waiting to turn price either way. Now, when it comes to climate, we are using our Auto Climate app that gives us these figures. When it comes to our nearest UFOs, we're looking at the Auto UFO app. that is going to tell us where these stacks of orders are. So we're using technology to help us be more objective about this and do a lot of that analysis for us. Now, what we're also going to do is understand volatility for each of these markets, which is basically how fast we expect them to move. And then we'll come down and we'll talk about news and impact coming up in the week. Okay, so let's do that market by market. We're going to start with the S&P. The symbol we're using is SPX.X. So let's take a look there. Here we are. So SPX.X, this is what we have here. We can see on the bottom, this is where our auto climate app is. It shows us what the climate is based on 4 different dots that it could be. So 4 different probabilities or possibilities. We have a thick blue dot, which tells us that the climate is up and it has probabilities that it's gonna work out that way. Thick red dot, which tells us that the market is down and it has probabilities that it could continue that way. Then we have a thin blue dot or a thin red dot. In either color, a thin dot tells us there's no probabilities or there's less probabilities. And so it normally means that we don't trade. So the auto climate helps us answer the question of should we trade and should we be long or short? This here on the S&P showing us a thick blue dot is telling us that we have probabilities on our side to the upside of this market for it trending upwards. Now, in terms of UFOs, unfilled orders on the chart that could move price. Closest stack of buy orders is just down here. 3224.73 to 3198.59. That is the closest stack of buy orders, and it's showed to us here by our green UFO there on the chart. Closest stack of sell orders that could push price down are up here at 3373.23 to 3393.52. Closest stack of sell orders that could push price down shows to us here as a red UFO on our chart. Okay, so going back to the newsletter here, let's understand if we're in a confirmed upwards climate. So we have a thick blue dot telling us that the climate is moving to the upside and we have probabilities on our side. However, let's understand how long we could expect this to keep going. So just by the way, all of these numbers on the right hand side, I'm going to round them up to the next round number, regardless of what the decimal place is. So what this tells us here is that the S&P would normally go up for 11 days or 11 candles on a daily chart, and that we are on candle number 14. So we have surpassed what is statistically likely for this market to do in terms of a continuous movement to the upside. Now, that's not to say that we can't keep pushing that. We've certainly seen cases recently where we've pushed it multiple times over what is probable. However, the word probable is in there for a reason. We want to put as many odds on our side as possible. So yes, we have a confirmed upwards climate that gives us some probabilities, but we lose probabilities when it comes to propagating because we've gone past what is statistically average and statistically likely for this market to keep going up. Bear in mind, the longer you keep going in one direction for, the less likely you are to keep doing that. The more you pull an elastic band, the more likely it is to come back on itself. So just think about it that way. Okay, so coming down to volatility, let's understand how far we could expect the S&P to move. So we're looking at this column here, current implied volatility numbers. These are all percentages and they're all annualized, which basically tell us the movement we could expect up or down within 1 year and in the form of a percentage on each of these markets. Now we get these figures from the options of these markets. So for those that don't know options comes with risk of assignment or exercise, which is dependent on how fast these markets move as to whether or not they're going to move a lot within a small period of time or not move very much. So when buyers and sellers of options, which are normally professional traders, are buying and selling the option and therefore setting the price, what they're willing to buy and sell them for is directly linked to the risk they're willing to take based on how far they think price will move. So in effect, these current implied volatility numbers show us what professional traders think, what's their opinion as to how much these markets will move. So when it comes to the S&P, we are using VIX.X, that's where we get these numbers. We can see here that based on the opinion of professional traders, we would expect a movement in 1 year on the S&P, either up or down of 25.36%. Which means in 1 day, if we reverse engineer this, we expect movement up or down of 52.04 points. In a week, we would expect a movement up or down of 114.55 points. And in 1 month, we would expect movement up or down of 238.46 points. Okay, moving on to the next market, we're looking at oil now. So at CL, that's the continuous futures contract. That's what we're going to look at for oil. So at CL, just going to move the chart a little bit. We've got a new UFO popped up. There we are. Now we've got what we need to see. Okay, so once again, we have a thick blue dot showing to us on the ᴾᴿᴱMARKET app on the bottom. So confirmed upwards climate. Market's moving to the upside and we have probabilities in our favor. Closest stack of buy orders are here, just underneath price. So it's 41.13 to 39.97. You can see there, current price is 41.16. So 3 ticks below is where we have the starting numbers for this UFO, for this stack of buy orders. Closest stack of sell orders is up here at 53.55 to 55.43. So quite a way to the upside there. Now, in terms of how long we could expect the market to go up for, we have a confirmed upwards climate, but how long can we expect that to happen? So what we see here is that oil would normally go up for 7 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 6. So coming to the end of what is statistically likely, but statistically we still have a day or so that it could continue in this direction, and we have probabilities on our side from the upwards climate being confirmed. By the way, if it was an unconfirmed climate, which means it would be a thin dot on the ᴾᴿᴱMARKET app, we would show a little cross here next to the arrows. As all of our climates today are confirmed, obviously no crosses, we're just showing them as upward arrows there, confirmed upwards climates. Now, bear in mind as well, although we are coming to the end of what's statistically likely, we do have buy orders just below us, and at the moment, big stack of sell orders is not for a little while. So unless new orders come into the market and change that, looks like there's some pressure there to the upside. So we'll see what happens there. So when it comes to movement, we are looking at OVX.X to give us an idea of how quickly these markets may move. So again, what this shows us is based on the opinion of professional traders. We would expect a movement on oil up or down in 1 year of 41.10%. So reverse engineered in 1 day, we expect movement up or down of 1.07 points. In a week, we expect movement up or down of 2.36 points. And in 1 month, we expect movement up or down of 4.90 points. Okay, moving on to gold, we are looking at the continuous futures contract again. So it's at GC. So let's take a look there. Just going to get it on a different chart here. So let's take a look. I'm going to spread that out a bit so we can see it a bit better. Okay. So like we said, once again, thick blue dot, confirmed upwards climate. So the market is moving upwards and we have probabilities on our side for it. Now, closest stack of buy orders. This is a new one here at 1817.4 to 1806.6. If we just move the chart a little bit here and just show you, we've been going up consistently for quite a while. We had overextended our climate. We took a little bit of a break, continued the climate again. We had a buy UFO down here that did exactly what we expect buy UFOs to do, which is push price upwards. So price came in, hit the UFO and went up from there. That's what we expect to happen with buy UFOs. Sell UFOs, we expect them to do the opposite, push price down. So the closest one is that one just there. We've already read the prices for that. Closest stack of sell orders, prices just hit it. Looks like it's reacting and moving to the downside. So this is 1863.6 to 1879.0. So we have 2 different forces working off against each other there. We have a confirmed upwards climate. We also have statistics that that climate is likely to continue, because normally we would expect gold to go up for 7 days in a row, 7 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 3. So we still have room for this climate to move based on statistics. We have a confirmed upwards climate. We have a buy UFO that was newly formed just below. However, we've just hit a sell UFO. We would expect sell UFOs to push price down. So we've got those 2 forces now going off against each other. It'll be interesting to see which one wins by the end of the day. So in terms of movement that we would expect, we are looking at GVZ.X or GVZ.X. And we can see here that we would expect, based on what professional traders believe, that gold would move up or down in 1 year of 16.67%, which means reverse engineered in 1 day, we would expect a movement of 19.5 points. In 1 week, a movement up or down of 43.0 points, and a movement in 1 month up or down of 89.5 points. So last market, Euro US dollar. Like we said before, this is a spot Forex currency pair. So let's take a look here. Euro USD. Once again, I'm just going to move this a little bit so we can see what we want to see. So I'm just going to make a point here with our UFOs. See, we have multiple UFOs, multiple buy UFOs on top of each other. Those are those little green flying saucers. And we can see that it's done what we expected to do. We had price come in here, hit a buy UFO and go up, came back, hit it again, went up, created a new UFO, went up, hit it, went up, created a new UFO. So we have multiple buy orders that are pushing price up at the moment, and we can see that showed in our climate, because once again, we have a confirmed upwards climate movement to the upside with probabilities on our side. Closest stack of buy orders is this one just here at 1.1449 to 1.1402. Just rounded that where it needs to be. Closest stack of sell orders up here, shown by our red UFO at 1.1740 to 1.1816. And just rounded that where it needs to be. So as we said, we have a confirmed upwards climate, as shown again here by our green arrow here on the newsletter. However, we would expect that a climate would normally go up for 4 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 13. So more than 3 times overextended what is average and what is normal in this market. So it's interesting because we have those buy UFOs that keep being added to the markets that are pushing it upwards. We have a confirmed climate to the upside, but we are pushing the probabilities here as to the likelihood that it keeps going up. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Again, bear in mind that we have probabilities on some sides and lack of probabilities with the others. Coming down to the movement we expect on the euro, we're looking at EVZ.X or EVZ.X. We are expecting, based on what professional traders are saying, a movement of 6.88% in 1 year, up or down on the euro, which means a movement up or down in 1 day of 50 pips, a movement up or down in 1 week of 110 pips, and a movement up or down in 1 month of 230 pips. Okay, so like we said, these implied volatility numbers just give us an idea of how fast we could expect these markets to move. The climate and propagating give us an idea of in which direction and for how long. And the nearest UFOs give us an idea of where price could turn, where we could see those climates change direction. Okay, so just going to come down and speak very briefly about the news that's upcoming. Now, normally, for those of you that follow us normally, I'm just going to scroll out a sec there. Here you go. For those of you that follow us normally, you'll know that we get this information from www.fxstreet.com/economic-calendar. We usually filter by US markets and high impact news. So news or reports that are expected to have a high impact on the markets. However, this week, there was none. There was no high impact news for US markets coming out this week. So we could have just left it blank, but we decided that we would put medium impact news out there for you. So again, bear in mind, it has less effect, of course, being medium instead of high impact. We had one come out yesterday on Tuesday. Because the information has already come out, that's why this is filled in and we see data. The rest of it is blank because we, of course, don't know it yet. It hasn't come out because the next reports that we have that are medium impact here come out today at 9 a.m. Eastern. So we've got the housing price index coming out at 9 a.m. and the existing home sales coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern. So like I said, we usually filter by high impact news and US markets. If you trade outside of those parameters, you can obviously go to the link and play about with the filters and see ones that fit your trade plan a little bit better. Okay, so just a couple of reminders before we round off. If you're not already part of the fun, where we do our sessions twice a day during the week and then once a day over the weekend, going over things such as sharpening, psychology, stocks, options, futures, investing, then you can join us, www.tradewithufos.com/youcantrade. We do have a free 14-day access, so you can try us out for a couple of weeks first, see if you like us first before you go from there. As we said at the start, the upcoming next class, full class that we have, will be the futures class that will be taught by Jose. So if you go to www.tradewithufos.com/futures live, you can learn more about that, read more about what we cover, and more about Jose as well. And at the moment, if you register for any course, you get an additional course for free. So the second course needs to be of equal or lesser value than the first one. So go to the website, maybe play about with those courses to see that you can get the best deal. If you have questions on anything, as always, email us, support@tradewithufos.com. Otherwise, we'll see you in the futures and options sessions today at 4:15 p.m. Eastern. My colleague Boyan will be coming back to look at what did happen in the market. what went as expected? Which of these forces won? What can we learn from it? So he'll be doing that at 4:15 p.m. Eastern. Otherwise, I'll be back in the morning. So I'll see you guys then. Hope you have a brilliant trading day. Have a great Wednesday. And yeah, have fun.